We have discussed the various aspects of financial statements. We also saw what exactly are those items that together constitute the financial statements. That is the balance sheet, the statement of profit and loss, the cash flow statement, and the notes accompanying these statements. Now, let us discuss each one of these. In this lesson, we shall discuss the balance sheet and the statement of profit and loss. We shall discuss the cash flow statement in chapter 11, which is exclusively based on cash flow statement. And in this particular video, let us discuss the items in the balance sheet. Coming to balance sheet, by now we all know what a balance sheet looks like. We have drawn balance sheets for not-for-profit organization, partnerships and proprietorships also. Let us now see the specific heads that are required in the balance sheet of a company. The Companies Act 2013 mandates or makes it compulsory for every company registered under this act to prepare its balance sheet, profit and loss statement, and the corresponding notes according to a certain sect norm, which is commonly known as the Revised Schedule 6. As such, all the companies follow the same norm while preparing their financial statement, thereby having a standardized information for any comparisons and calculations. Coming to balance sheet here, we know that a balance sheet has two sides, that is the liability side and the asset side, which should match. Each of these sides have a particular preset format that needs to be followed. The four major heads under liabilities are shareholders' funds, share application money pending allotment, non current liabilities, and current liabilities. And the two major heads on the asset side are non current assets and current assets. Even if the amount for any of these heads is zero, still these heads have to be shown and the amount should be written as zero, which means that you cannot skip writing these heads in the balance sheet. These heads must be reflected in the balance sheet. Like in a cricket scoreboard, even if a batsman has scored 0, they don't remove his name from the score sheet. They show his name at whatever position he went into bat and show his score as 0. The same way, all these major heads have to be shown, irrespective of whether they have any amount within them or not. Under the liability side, the first two heads are more relating to the shareholders' investments and rights, and second two heads are actual liabilities of the company. Let us see each of these items now. The first major head under liabilities is shareholders' funds. As the name clearly suggests, this head consists of items that are investments and belongings of shareholders. The first one is share capital. This is the total capital raised by the company by way of issue of shares. The shareholders are the ones who have invested in the shares of the company and thereby hold the shares of the company. It includes both equity and preference shares. Next is reserves and surplus. These are certain earmarked investments and profits of the company. We know that profits are ultimately shared among the shareholders. So, the shareholders have a right on the profits and hence this is included under shareholders' funds. Thirdly, there is money received against share warrants. Share warrant is where the person holding such warrant has the right to acquire equity shares of the company and become a shareholder. So, they are not shareholders, but they have a right to acquire shares. That is why it is shown separately from share capital, but within the same head, that is shareholders' funds. The second major head on the liability side is share application money pending allotment. This refers to the amount received by the company on application of shares, but the shares are not yet allotted. So, the person who has paid money on application is still not a shareholder as the shares are not allotted to him. But the money received from him is a liability to the company and not yet coming under shareholders' funds. So, it is disclosed separately as share application money pending allotment. Once the shares are allotted, then such amount gets transferred under the share capital, which is a subhead of shareholders' funds. The third head is non-current liabilities, where the actual liabilities of the company starts to get disclosed. Even before delving into the non-current and current liabilities, let us first see what is the difference between non-current and current. An item gets classified as current under the following situations. If it is used in the company's normal operating cycle, like certain inventories, or is basically held by the company for trading, like current investments and inventories, or is expected to be realized or settled within 12 months, like trade payables or receivables, or is a cash or cash equivalent, and carries no obligations or rights to defer its settlement or realization for at least 12 months after the reporting date, like short term borrowings and short term loans and advances. Barring this, all other assets and liabilities get categorized as non current. So basically, every item that is traded in the day to day business has a life of under 12 months within the company or is a cash or cash equivalent is classified as current, and everything that falls outside this purview is classified as non current. Having discussed this, let us move on to the third major head of the balance sheet, that is non current liabilities. The third major head on the liabilities side, that is non current liabilities, starts with the head long term borrowings. Every company generally has some kind of debts. The loans taken by the company, which are repayable in more than 12 months from the reporting date, are called the long term borrowings. Usually, these loans may be in relation to any huge assets purchased, new expansions, bigger projects, etc. These loans are taken for a period more than 12 months and do not become due to closure before that. Next is a head called deferred tax liabilities. It is a tax liability that a company will become obligated to pay in the future due to some transaction that has happened in the current period, but such liability is not payable at the current time period. It is calculated by taking the difference between a company's taxable income and accounting income before taxes and applying the anticipated tax rate to it. The next head is other long term liabilities. This head includes any liability other than long term borrowings which is due beyond 12 months after the reporting date. These may include long term customer deposits, capital leases, etc. The next and the last head under this category is the long term provisions. This head includes all the provisions carried for more than 12 months after the reporting date. Provisions are certain future liabilities that are certain, but the actual timings of which becoming due cannot be determined at the present point of time. And finally, the fourth major head on the liabilities side is the current liabilities. The first head under this is short term borrowings. We have discussed long term borrowings just now. As this name suggests, there are various loans taken by the company which are either repayable on demand or whose tenure is 12 months, which fall under this. The next head is trade payables. Businesses have a lot of routine purchases which may include raw materials, trading goods, work in progress, and so on. But sometimes the businesses do not pay the vendors as soon as the goods are delivered. They may have any agreement for a certain period of time to be allowed to make such payments. As an example, we know that many a times we may purchase groceries from the nearby shopkeeper and ask him to maintain our account and pay him at the end of every month. Similarly, businesses also take a certain period of time to pay their vendors. Such amount payable to vendors on account of normal day-to-day transactions of the business are classified as trade payables. The next head is other current liabilities. This head includes all those liabilities which are repayable within 12 months and which cannot be included under borrowings and trade payables. And the last head under current liabilities is short term provisions. These are the provisions created for a liability that is foreseeable within the next 12 months. These could be provisions for doubtful debts, discount on debtors, etc. Now that we are done discussing the heads under the liability side of the balance sheet, let's move on to the heads under the asset side of the balance sheet. We saw that the liability side had four major heads, which can be divided as the first two being shareholders' funds and the next two being actual liabilities, that is non-current and current. On the asset side, we have two major heads, that is the non-current assets and the current assets. Coming to the first head, non-current assets, as the name suggests, and as we have already discussed the categorization of current and non-current items, it is clear that this head consists of assets held for long term beyond 12 months. The first head under non-current assets is fixed assets. Fixed assets consists of tangible and intangible fixed assets that are held for long-term usage by the company. These are not likely to be converted to cash in the near future. The next head is non-current investment. All the investments made by an organization which are expected to be realized beyond 12 months are classified as non-current investments. Then we have deferred tax asset. This is where a business has overpaid certain taxes or paid certain tax in advance on account of a difference between the accounting income and the taxable income, which has a capability to reduce the taxable income in future due to such advance payment in the present. The next is long-term loans and advances. These constitute any loans and advances given by the organization to external parties for a period exceeding 12 months. And the last head under the non-current assets is other non-current assets. This head includes any other assets which do not fall under any of the first four heads and which is held by the organization for a period more than 12 months. The second major head under the asset side of the balance sheet is the current assets. The first head under the current assets is current investments. This head consists of those investments of the organization which are due to mature within 12 months. Then we have inventories. As the name suggests, inventories are stock of goods that are held by the organization for sale in the normal course of business. The next category is trade receivables. This refers to all the credit sales made by an organization and reflects the amount receivable from the buyers on account of transactions in the normal course of business. The next category is cash and cash equivalents. Cash includes the amount of cash in hand and cash at bank that the business holds. Cash equivalents are short-term assets that are easily convertible to cash. The next head is short-term loans and advances, which consists of any advances given by the organization to external parties for a period of less than 12 months. The final head, other current assets, includes any other asset that is held by the organization for a period of less than 12 months. So with this, we have discussed how the balance sheet is constituted and where each item gets reflected in the balance sheet.